Hello everybody, today's video is going to be on road rage here in Utah. House Bill 30, as amended May 1st of 2024. The state of Utah is really cracking down on road rage, and so that's what we're going to talk about. Road rage is defined as a criminal offense committed by an operator of a motor vehicle in response to an incident that occurs or escalates on a roadway and with intent to endanger or intimidate an individual and another vehicle. There was a California Highway Patrol study that they did a few years back, and they listed the main contributors of road rage. And even though that was California, it's probably not that different from Utah. Speeding, unsafe lane changes, and following too closely are the main contributors that will spark a road rage incident. In the state of Utah, it's a Class B misdemeanor that's required in order for an offense to be road rage. For example, if you're involved in a road rage situation and you are found to be reckless driving, and that could be if you're speeding in excess of 105 miles per hour or higher, or if you commit 3 or more traffic violations within a 3-mile distance. For example, you're involved in this road rage and you commit an unsafe lane change without signaling, and you're speeding and you're following too close. That would be a Class B misdemeanor road rage. Or if you or somebody else assaults another person, and that's just a Class B misdemeanor. Or you brandish a firearm, or you strike their car, placing a dent in it. Very interesting thing they've done is they have placed enhancements on road rage offenses. If they can fit your behavior or somebody else's behavior into a criminal offense that's a Class B misdemeanor or higher, they enhance that 1 degree. For example, if you're found to be reckless driving during a road rage incident, that Class B misdemeanor is a Class A misdemeanor under the new law. Let's say that you brandish a gun during that road rage, or somebody else does that. That Class A misdemeanor would now be a 3rd-degree felony. They also have mandatory vehicle impounds if you're arrested for a road rage incident. Tips to avoid a road rage. Number 1, even though I know it's tempting, don't engage with that other person, even if it's their fault. I'll tell you a story that happened just a few months ago. I was driving on the number 1 lane on the I-15 freeway. And for those of you who don't know, that's that very inside lane, and there's that Jersey barrier, that concrete barrier where you have nowhere else to go. Well, this guy wasn't paying attention. I was probably in his blind spot or something like that, but he just started drifting into my lane to make a lane change. And I laid on the horn, honk, until he heard that and he moved back into his lane. And then he immediately just flipped me off with both fingers and shaking his fist, and I just ignored him and continued on driving. And I was able to successfully de-escalate that situation. But I have no doubt, had I returned that finger to him, or returned that fist or something like that, I probably would have escalated into something that I would not have wanted it to happen. So don't engage for whatever reason. Don't make eye contact with them if they get pissed off. No returning the bird or initial bird flipping, even if they initiate it. If you witness a road rage situation that's occurring between other people, do report it. Your report of what you see may help break and solve that case, and maybe that officer's looking for somebody, and that other person involved, that victim, was not able to get much information, and that call that you do can help solve that case. I think we have an obligation to get these bad drivers off of the road. And I'm not saying report every single little traffic violation that people do, but there are certain situations that definitely need to be reported. For example, if you see somebody reckless driving, as I described earlier, report it. If they brandish a gun, or if they try to force you or somebody off the road, or if they try to stop you or slow you down on the road, or if they cause property damage. You see them vandalizing somebody's vehicle or assaulting another person. Those are situations you definitely want to report. Dash cams are great evidence. If everybody seems to have a dash cam these days, and don't hesitate to use it if you're involved in a situation. Cops, judges, and prosecutors love video evidence. Here's some of the necessary details for a good police report. You want to focus on the driver description. Driver is the most important. If you can just get one good description of somebody in the car, it would be that driver. If you have somebody else in the car that can help you jot down information maybe of other occupants in the car, that would certainly be better than just the driver, but that driver is your main focus. You not just want to get a license plate number. That is important, but you also want to get a good vehicle description, the make, the model, and the color. Why? Because sometimes people put plates from different vehicles onto other vehicles, and so being able to match everything up would be very useful in a police investigation. Also, you want to note the address, where the incident started and where it ended, and a description of what happened. The dispatcher is going to want all this information. Another tip, you always want to request the officer contact you either in person or by phone. If you simply just report this information, you don't do that. Sometimes dispatchers will just issue a broadcast, an attempt to locate, called an ATL, and if they don't see those bad drivers, they just short form the report out, which means they don't take a case report on it. But requesting the officer contact you in person or by phone assures that there's going to most likely be a report made on that particular call. If you're using force and you have no other way to avoid the situation and you're finding yourself in danger, your legal rights to use force in this particular situation are going to be under Utah Title 76-2-405. That is the Defensive Habitation Statute. And this year, the legislature has included vehicles, your places of business, your places of employment, to be under this particular statute. So I would encourage you to read that statute from top to bottom to where you understand it. I am just going to give a short explanation as to what it means and what your rights are, but I think you should read it for yourself. If you're found in a situation, and obviously you want to try to avoid this at all costs and try to retreat, even though the law doesn't require you to retreat, I think it's a good idea to do so. When you find yourself in a pickle, you can use force yourself. If that other person attempts to or enters your vehicle in a violent and tumultuous manner, which is probably what would happen in this scenario, or by stealth or surreptitiously, and you reasonably believe the purpose of them trying to enter your vehicle is to perpetuate personal violence against you or to commit any felony, you can use force to protect yourself. Deadly force should always be a tool of last resort, and the use of deadly force should be necessary to defend yourself or other people in the vehicle. The last piece of this is, if you're involved in a road rage situation under this new law, you cannot be found provoking this situation in any way, and you cannot yourself be involved in criminal activity yourself other than a traffic violation. So it's really important, especially for that reason, to not be provoking it and doing any acts that could be viewed by a jury that you were found provoking the situation, or you don't have those legal protections of self-defense. Drive courteously, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.